All right, let's dive into an idea that's over 2,000 years old, but might just be exactly what we need right now. We're talking about Aristotle's golden mean.
Ever feel like this? Like your life is a switch, either it's all on or it's all off. You're either giving something way too much energy or, none at all. It's this constant tension, right?
I mean, think about it in a meeting. On one side, you've got the fear of saying anything, so you just stay quiet. But on the other side, well, you've got that impulse to just take over the whole conversation. We get yanked back and forth between these poles all the time.
And that constant push and pull, that's what we can call the trap of extremes. It's a really common human challenge, and just seeing it, just recognizing it, that's the first step towards getting out of it.
It's almost like we're living on this giant pendulum. We swing from one extreme, say, putting off a project because we're scared it won't be perfect, and then we swing all the way to the other side, pulling a frantic all-nighter. It is absolutely exhausting, and let's be honest, it rarely produces our best work.
So what's the alternative? How do we get off this chaotic pendulum? What if the real strength, the most effective place to be, isn't at either edge, but somewhere else entirely?
And that is exactly where this brilliant idea from the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle comes into play. He called it the golden mean. And I'm telling you, it can be a total game changer for how you look at, well, pretty much everything.
At its heart, the idea is incredibly simple. The golden mean is that sweet spot, that desirable middle ground between two extremes. It's the point of perfect balance.
But let's be super clear about something. This is not about being wishy-washy or just meeting in the middle for the sake of it. No way. Think of it more like finding the strongest, most skillful, and most appropriate action that exists between two flawed options, what Aristotle would have called vices. So how does this actually work? Aristotle framed it by looking at two opposing forces, deficiency and excess. Let's break that down.
Okay, so on one end of the spectrum, you've got deficiency. This is the too little problem. For example, having too little courage isn't caution, it's cowardice. Having too little generosity, well, that's just being stingy.
And on the complete opposite end, you have excess. This is the too much problem. So what's an excess of courage? It's not more courage, it's recklessness. And an excess of generosity isn't better, it can actually be wasteful.
And here is where you can see the whole framework laid out. It's beautiful, right? On one side, the vice of deficiency, too little. On the other, the vice of excess, too much. And right there, in that powerful middle spot, you find the virtue. So between cowardice and recklessness, you find courage. That's the golden mean. That's our target.
Okay, this all sounds really good in theory, doesn't it? But how do we actually use this in our day-to-day lives? Let's talk about a practical framework you can start using today.
Now this is maybe the most important part. The mean isn't a fixed mathematical center. It's not always 50-50. The right amount of courage for a soldier in battle is going to be way different than for an accountant doing taxes, right? It's a flexible, personal guide that totally depends on you and the situation you're in.
So how can you practice this? It's a pretty simple three-step process. First, just identify the extremes. Ask yourself, what does too little look like here, and what does too much look like? Second, locate yourself. Be honest. Where are you on that spectrum right now? Are you leaning toward one of the vices? And finally, step 3 is to consciously, intentionally aim for that virtuous middle.
It all just comes back to this simple but incredibly powerful idea. It's not about playing it safe or avoiding difficulty. It's about finding the strongest, most stable, and most effective path, right down the center, the balance between extremes.
So, I'll just leave you with this to think about. In your job, in your friendships, in your own habits, where is that pendulum swinging just a little too far? Where is the golden mean just waiting for you to find it?